Brian Taylor is one of those guys who you meet and you can tell his brain is just going a mile a minute. A man of many interests and talents. Back in school, Brian's favorite topic was track, followed by lunch, and then history. He lives with his wife in Ellenton, Florida, who he describes as his compass and his prod. I can totally relate, Brian. His kids are grown and off on their own, by the way. Brian retired from the United States Air Force after a career spanning 25 years. He holds a master's degree in educational and instructional technology and another in English with an emphasis on teaching English as a second language. So, Brian is the 8th of 8 children, and he grew up in a multi-talented and musical family. His home was a jovial place where everyone was welcome, no questions asked, and he feels that this filled him with a generous spirit and a sense of joy. Brian first got into wearing the kilt in 2017 at the age of 55. He's since expanded his wardrobe to a very modest 12 kilts. Good job, Brian. His hobbies include woodworking, gunsmithing, and leatherwork, and Brian has turned his crafty side to making accessories for his kilts, like the cool raven-themed sporran that you see here. He also recently began learning tablet weaving in order to make his own garter ties. He's currently teaching himself how to sew and tailor as well because he wants to make his own jackets. The guy is really ambitious. Brian's personal heritage is strongly English and German, with a modicum of Scottish and Welsh mixed in. Though he doesn't claim a direct clan connection, he says he is very proud to have been adopted into the Central New York Cameron Clan Society by a good friend of his. He explains, "I got into kilt wearing probably because of a deep-seated need to be recognized. I was the 8th of 8 kids. I had mentioned for about 25 to 30 years that I'd like a kilt. Why? Well, obvious to me, I had the legs for it. Plus, it was a bit of a counterculture thing." Brian also draws joy and inspiration from the mythos and cosmology of Gallic culture. He says, "I enjoy the great stories and the family and community bonds. Since I come from a large family, that type of interaction is very important and natural for me. I try to instill that in others, and the Celtic culture has allowed me to make friends from a wide range of people." Brian usually prefers a more understated style, but enjoys punching up his gear with ideas he gets from fellow Kilts and Culture group members. Little things like, the choice of colors for flashes or matching elements as tiny as shoelace colors to match tartan. That's pretty detail-oriented. To kilt newbies, Brian says the most important thing is you have to be able to tell yourself it's okay to wear it. He says, "You see lots of posts where people say, 'Own it!' And here's how you do that. Stand up straight, shoulders back, chin slightly up and tucked, keep that steely look in your eye, smile, have fun, and remember, illegitimi non carborundum." Oh, and by the way, Brian recently passed the kilt bug on to his daughter-in-law. You can meet her as well as Brian on the Kilts and Culture Facebook group. Go ahead and say hi, they are great people.